It must have been about 8 a.m. when they started shelling. The shells were falling 30 or 40 meters in front of us. It was maybe 9:45. I remember very well when they surrounded us. We were a group of several women, children and men. One woman was pregnant. They encircled us, and from the street below they told us that we were surrounded and that we shouldn't try anything, but should walk calmly down to the street. As we descended, knowing that we were surrounded, we could see them approach. Then they separated the women from the men. They put the women along one wall and made the men lie down on the road. I'm not sure how many cars came, but the men were well armed. I remember one in particular, Vučko, the wolf. He was armed to the teeth, and he had those military boots laced up his leg. The soles of the boots were steel enforced, and with these boots, he was kicking and smashing people. He warned us that under no circumstances should anyone cry. He threatened to kill us all, to slit our throats. I counted 30 men lying on the ground. Your husband was there too? Yes, he was. 5 of the men's throats were slit right away. They tortured the others, so they would suffer and die slowly. They broke my husband's jaw and sliced him across here. Then I saw him exhale and the blood gushed out.
I have to say that the conflict we were involved in was a clean fight, like knights. Whoever survived was the winner. We didn't provoke this conflict. The Muslims did. They picked a fight with the Serbs, so they should suffer the consequences. Serbian volunteer forces acted to prevent further bloodshed and genocide. They demonstrated their humanity. For example, at this building, here, they gathered all the innocent civilians to protect them from the fighting. They put them on buses and sent them over the border.
That is the restaurant, the cafe. Those people were taken out, and along that wall they were shot. This is the restaurant where they were actually in a shelter. They used it as shelter. This is the wall along which they were lined up and shot. And one man accidentally survived.
The only thing we heard was shattering glass falling from the front of the restaurant. After they broke the glass, we could hear their voices, and then one of them stuck his head through the window. When he saw us, he began shouting, "Civilian!" He started to search us in the room, looking for weapons that we might have thrown away before they had arrived, but he couldn't find any because there was nothing. When he realized that there was nothing, he shouted, "Men to one side." As he approached, he finished a conversation on his walkie-talkie and put it away. Then he shot the two Baja brothers. He was cursing and yelling. He grabbed my brother-in-law by the hair, cursed at him, and while still pulling his hair, shot him in the head. This all happened in a split second. Then he turned to me. All I can remember is lifting my shoulder and moving my head like this. After that, I don't remember anything. After a while, I regained consciousness. I opened my eyes and saw that my head was down, and my hands were under my head. They were covered with black blood. As I was lying there, I saw Boots coming toward me then, and he shot me again in the head.
After receiving 3, 4, 5 reports of this type and seeing what was happening in March in other towns like Foča, Belina, and later Zvornik, I came to the conclusion that these were not isolated incidents committed by a group of crazed paramilitary radicals, but that they were part of a well-planned system which always followed the same logic and the same strategy.
Following the untrue and biased interpretations of the events and situation in Zvornik, the Federal Ministry for National Defense Information issued this statement. Muslim and fascist Croat paramilitary units initiated armed clashes in the Zvornik region and cut off communication between Serbia and Bosnia Herzegovina. The Yugoslav People's Army and the territorial defense units entered Zvornik, pushed these Muslim paramilitary groups out of town, re-established order, and restored communications.
The state-controlled media played the role of heavy artillery, softening the terrain and preparing for the arrival of the infantry, which were the paramilitary groups.
The Vučković brothers were the lowest in a chain of command, small soldiers in a large scheme. The past 2 years, my colleagues and I have tried to discover who was pulling the strings and from where. When the Vučković brothers were arrested, we were told that they were members of the Serbian Radical Party, an extreme nationalist organization. The only two people accused of war crimes are the Vučković brothers, and it is said that they were members of your party. They were charged because of what happened in Zvornik.
No, they were never members of the Serbian Radical Party. In 1993, the government tried to present them as such, but even during their trial, they denied it. The commander was our volunteer in 1991 during the war with Croatia, but we threw him out for looting.
Here is my interpretation of the situation. The little fish who was just doing his job is taking the fall for the big fish.
In the case of Vojin Vučković and his brother Dušan Vučković, I have to say that this trial has political connotations, both for the Yugoslav government as well as for other people outside the country. So this trial has two aspects, a criminal aspect and a political aspect. Which one will dominate and what will happen has yet to be seen.